Hello, I'm Jashikins, and welcome to another episode of Jash Reads. Tonight, we are reading more of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by Kay Applegate. And outside, it is definitely night. Definitely, I double checked before I said anything on this episode. Now, that lame ass joke will not make any sense unless you watch the last video, so woo! Okay, I'm going to sip on the coffee. I swear, like, at this moment, I've reached a stage of tiredness where I don't feel tired anymore. And it's great and horrible, and I need have lots of hours of sleep to catch up on. Woot! I'm a workaholic, so yeah, just not doing anything can be stressful. And doing stuff can be stressful. It's no way to avoid the stress for me. Anyways, tonight's chapter will be from Axe's point of view. Woo! I don't know why I'm starting to do that shit. It's the caffeine talking. Anyways, I watched it all in the wavering, shimmering hologram. The elephant running, the truck racing, with the Velik in hot pursuit. The picture suddenly became much sharper. We were now seeing the scene through the gun camera of one of the bug fighters. A flashing light came on, an indicator that the bug fighter was preparing to fire its Dracon beams. Red beams laced toward the elephant. The elephant ran in terror. The truck hit. In a flash, it was all over. The elephant lay sprawled across the side of the road. The truck was overturned. The Velik was hovering over the scene. It dropped swiftly down, enveloping a ditch. It rose. It rose with something concealed inside it. The Velik arced swiftly toward the sky, out of range of the bug fighter's cameras. Come to me, my little pets. Fisher 3 crowed. Bring me my second Andalite bandit. Fisher 3 turned his dark eyes toward me. You'll have company soon. I felt a sinking sensation. Who had the Velik taken? Rachel? Cassie? Marco? Call the bug fighters, Fisher 3 said. Tell them to land. Hold that large creature. The Velik can't carry it until it demorphs into something smaller. Vischer, one of the human controllers, said timidly. The bug fighter has a crew of one taxon and one Hork-Bajir. May I suggest we contact some of our Earth-based human controllers? They will be less conspicuous than Hork-Bajir. Do it, Fisher 3 ordered. But tell those bug fire crews they will contain that beast. They will not let it go, or I'll see that they become the main course at the Taxon's next meal. I'm going to my quarters. Call me when the Velik arrives with my prize. Blank the Andalite's cage. My cage wall became opaque. I was alone again, unable to see out. I was left to imagine the fate of my human friends. I have never felt more worthless or powerless. I felt a sudden, sharp pain on my arm. What had Marco said they were? Fleas? I swatted it absentmindedly. Wait! A flea? Hadn't I heard Jake say he had done it? Yes, I was sure it was a flea. He had morphed a flea. And he was, after all, just a human. Surely I reached for the flea. Easier said than done. It hopped away. I found it again. Again it escaped. On the third try, I caught it. I squeezed the flea carefully between my fingers. I focused on the flea. Yes, it might just work. We had very few animals that small on my own world. Perhaps the same was true of the Yerks. The Vischer would not expect me to morph something so tiny. In which case, I might have one slim chance. I had morphed a fly, and I had morphed a, an ant. But as small as they were not small enough. An ant is far larger than a flea, many times larger, but a flea is nearly invisible. It was time to get very small, time to morph. I began to shrink at a startling rate. Each morphine is unique. Things don't happen logically. Some parts of your body change in shape when they are still far too large in size. Other times, the parts of your body shrink down, becoming very tiny and only changing shape at the last minute. This explains why, even as I was still a couple of feet tall, I suddenly felt two long tusks come shooting out of my mouth. Two long teeth. And I knew immediately what they were used for. These were what the flea used to pierce my skin and drink my blood. Why a flea should have a taste for Andalite blood is a mystery. But now I knew how the little monster did his dirty work, and I really did not want to dwell on that image. My legs and arms began to segment. Joints appeared where they should not have been. Primitive joints that scraped as I moved. My tail withered away and my body swelled. I was bloating up. At the same time, my blue and tan fur gave way to an exoskeleton, a shell. I could hear my bones dissolving. Oh, I could feel sickening lurches as my internal organs all disappeared. My complex andalite hearts became something that was barely a valve. Long, spiked hair shot from my jointed legs. A sort of shell helmet fringed with backward raked spikes replaced my face. And all the while, the floor of my cage grew vastly wider. and closer and closer. I felt I was on an endless landscape of smooth black glass. My stalk eyes went blind as they became short, stubby antennae. My sight and my main eyes dimmed and shattered into 1,000 points of gray light. I was almost blind. What I could see was nothing but shades of gray. Dots, not shapes. I could not hear in the usual sense, but I could pick up subtle vibrations through my antennae and through all the hairs on my oh, oh, vibrations through my antennae and through all the hairs on my minuscule body. I stood on my 6 invisibly small legs, protected by plates of shell armor, almost blind, almost unable to hear, afraid. The next move was up to the Yerks. I waited and ticked off the minutes. The flea's brain was scarcely a brain at all. It contained almost nothing. The sum total of what the flea knew was this: jump toward warmth and the smell of life. Since there was no warmth and no smell of life, the flea brain had nothing much to say. I waited, hoped, feared, and listened for the Visher's thought speech. There are two kinds of thought speech: open and closed. Open thought speak can be heard by anyone. Closed thought speak is like a human whispering to only one person. The Visher gave his orders in open thought speak so that everyone heard. That was how I knew when he'd returned. From a distance I heard, "You, and you, and you too. Follow me to the bridge." I tried to control the fear that welled up in me at his approach. I hated him. I knew I had to live on that hate and try not to let the fear overpower me. My time would come, I told myself. I would avenge Alfangor. I would save my honor. Where is the Velik? Then open the hatch, you idiot, and let it in. Yes, right here on the bridge. And brighten the Andalite's cage. I want to see these old friends meet. I saw light, which was actually just an increase in the number of gray dots. There was a silence from Visher 3 for about 2 seconds. Then an explosion of enraged thought speech. Fools! Where is it? Where is it? I'll kill every one of you if it has escaped. Suddenly, a sorry, sorry there. Suddenly, a rush of air. I felt it waved across my bristles and antennae. Then the scent of exhaled breath, a sensation of some warm object, the smells of a living creature. No! Don't open the cage, Bishop 3 yelled. Too late, I thought. Jump. Above my back legs was a biological spring. It fired. The energy went to my legs and I went flying. I've seen humans jump. They cannot jump their own height. Even we Andalites can barely jump our own height. But the flea? Oh, well, the flea can jump 100 times his own height. It was as if a human being could simply leap over a 60-story building. I flew through the air, and as I flew, I somersaulted over so that I was flying legs first. I hit something and stopped very suddenly. Close the cage. Visher 3 screamed. I felt a swift move. Goddamn. I felt a swift movement in the air just above me. The thing I was attached to fell. And even as he fell, I could sense that he no longer smelled like life. So yeah, okay, chapter's done with, and as you can tell, I am still, well, I'm still figuring out Axe's voice, and like maybe teenager Andalites like Axe, you know how in guys once they start hitting puberty, their voice changes. Maybe something like that happens with the Andalites. So I'm trying to go that direction. Might work out, might not work out. We'll see. Like, I need some coffee, and then it's like, oh, coffee's right in front of me. Can't drink too much, acid reflux. So with this chapter, Axe thinks of a way to escape. For some reason, there's a flea there. And so he's like, first is thinking of killing the flea, but then he's like, wait a minute, I can't escape. Now, one of the sort of cliche things about the series is the whole Earth is the most biodiverse planet ever. Because Axe's whole plan relies on the fact about biodiversity not really existing that much on the Andalite or Yurk home worlds. It's a little cliche, like, oh my god, they won't ever notice. Because their planet, our planets aren't very biodiverse compared to Earth. But at the same time, it's also clever because Axe is finding a weakness and exploiting it. Not a big weakness, but it's like the weakness is there, so he's doing his best. I feel like I could serve. I definitely need some sleep. But anyways, here's some questions for tonight's episode. What do you think about Axe's plan to use the flea? Do you think, and also, what do you think about the lack of biodiversity in science fiction when there's like other plants involved? What do you think about that? What are your favorite sci-fi series for biodiverse, alien life forms, besides Animorphs? Or if it is Animorphs, you can still talk about Animorphs, and I need sleep. Like, I'm gonna probably crash after I finish here. But anyways, remember, no major spoilers in that comment section. I am hoping against hope that people get into the Animorphs series via these videos, and as Animorphs has some big twists, big turns, I really don't want all that spoiled for newcomers. But if you do want to talk spoilers with me, talk to me in the morning. And also, if you're on the YouTubes, link to my Tumblr Ask box, and there you can ask any question about Animorphs you want to, except that one. That question won't do. And hey, if you're one of those new people in the Animorphs fandom, welcome, Phantomorph. Just want to warn you, this fandom doesn't have cookies, but it does have some glorious cinnamon buns, which are humanity's greatest creation. So there's that. And if you're listening to this episode and you're like, hey, Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift, actually seems pretty cool. Where can I buy my own copy? If you are on the YouTube's link in the description. If you are on my Tumblr, there was a couple thoughts that came together into one jumbled mess. But anyways, if you're on the YouTube's link in the description, if you're on my blog, link down below, and both links will take you to where you can buy your very own copy of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by Kay Applegate. Now, yes, you can buy this book in other places. However, buying via those links not only gets you something awesome, not only helps support the creators that made Animorphs possible, but also help support me. So if you do like me, you do like the book, and you do want a nice item, those links are the way to go. Now, if you are on the YouTubes, please like this video if you like Axe's plan of turning into the flea. Also, remember to subscribe. I will be reading the entire Animorphs series. So, you know what that means? If you're enjoying Animorphs so far, you will not want to miss out. So subscribe. And if you're watching this on my blog and watching on the desktop version of my blog, please choose the follow by email option so you will never again miss out on any of my blog work. Not only do I do Jash Reads, I do a few fan fictions, I do reviews, and I do a bunch of other stuff. And tomorrow will be the start of my monthly Flight Rising giveaway, so check that out tomorrow sometime after I wake up. Let's see. Yeah, I think that covers it. Oh yeah, one more thing. The next episode of Jash Reads will be more of Megamorphs #1, The Andalite's Gift by Kay Applegate, and will air on Friday, so check that out. And until next video, goodbye.